Hello. Thank you for tuning in to the Black Political Buzz Network, and my name is Laurel. Today's vlog or video topic is Russell Simmons Ghetto Card Mess. Where are the banks? Again, today's vlog or video topic is Russell Simmons Ghetto Card Mess. Where are the banks? Okay, so as we all know, that earlier this month, it's been in the news, it was made major national headlines. Russell Simmons, who is the CEO of the RUSHCARD, he was a member of Run DMC rap group, hip hop rap group, from years ago. He was the CEO and founder of Fat Farm, or whatever that company is. An apparel line for people who dress, use that hip hop style with the baggy jeans and all that stuff, whatever. And then he also became a social media mogul with the launching of Global Grind, the Global Grind Network website. He became a social media mogul, and then also he started the RUSHCARD. The RUSHCARD is a financial company or bank card for low-income citizens in this country whose credit does not afford them the privilege of banking with a conventional or regular bank. So, you've seen the commercials about the RUSHCARD and so forth, and the RUSHCARD, many thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, most of them Black and Latino. The majority of the customers or consumers who have used the RUSHCARD are Black and Latino low-income citizens who live from paycheck to paycheck, all right? And the RUSHCARD is a prepaid debit card, which allows working citizens or low-income citizens to deposit their paychecks or their disability checks or their pension checks or their retirement checks into a fund, and then they can have access to that money through via the RUSHCARD. And of course, each transaction comes with a fee. There's a fee for each transaction, each withdrawal, each time they go to the store and use their card, whatever. There's a transaction fee. So the RUSHCARD allowed customers, consumers, or citizens who were not allowed or who could not do business with a conventional or regular bank due to their credit rating or other circumstances. So the RUSHCARD gave these people an outlet. It gave them the ability to be able to pay their bills, pay their rent, pay their car payment, buy food for their families, manage their finances, and supposedly to rebuild their credit as well. The purpose of this card was also to help these citizens to also rebuild their credit. So Russell Simmons Company, they made millions and millions of dollars from the transaction fees. The transaction fees that this card, charges these consumers, these citizens, is how RUSHCARD made its money. All right. So earlier this month, due to a technical glitch, because supposedly the RUSHCARD company, Russell Simmons, he changed IT companies. The IT company that manages the online process or the behind the scene process of how the card works electronically. Supposedly he switched companies, and the new company's process basically just threw his company offline. So many of these citizens and consumers did not have access to their money. Hundreds of thousands of people did not have access to their money. And this made national headlines. This made national news headlines. It was a huge story. And it made Russell Simmons look very, very bad as a businessman. Although Russell Simmons has pretty much had a stellar, a great business background in the media, a business image in the media, this really put him on edge. I mean, it really made him look bad. And he's a black man. So, under Obama, the media is going to really, try to make black people look bad anyway. So this really made Russell Simmons, look bad as a businessman. And even though there was nothing he could do to quickly resolve the matter, I believe that he did try to work on it, but it's technology, and sometimes technology is slow. I don't care how great the engineers are that you've hired to work on a project. I don't care how great the engineers are that you hired to work on a project. Sometimes when you're dealing with a large system, a large network, sometimes when you're dealing with a very large network, the correction or the fix is not going to be quick. So that's what happened in this instance. But anyway, the reason why I'm calling this the Ghetto card, the Rush card, the Ghetto card, because the majority of the citizens that use this card live in low-income areas, or quote-unquote, our nation's ghetto. Okay? And these people are trapped in poverty. They live from paycheck to paycheck or from monthly check to monthly checks. The banks don't want to deal with these people. Neither does Congress, neither does Obama. As a matter of fact, the only reason why Russell Simmons has recently, as of yesterday or yesterday evening, the news broke that Russell Simmons has established a special fund because the government got involved, because the news media, because the story made national news and it did not go away. And the federal government had to get involved. Had to. They didn't want to, because these are black people and these are poor black people, poor Latino citizens, poor blacks, poor Latino citizens. The federal government doesn't give a darn about those people. If it hadn't made national news and stayed in the news and the media, people would still not have access to their money. So now Russell Simmons has launched a special fund to help these people have access to their money. He's going to recompensate these citizens and these consumers for the inconvenience that they experience of not being able to have their money to pay their bills and buy food to put in their household, pay their rent and so forth, so that they won't get evicted, etc. But the federal government would not have stepped in if it wasn't for the media. Mainly a lot of online media, not the television media, mainly a lot of online media. Thank God for the social media sites. Thank God for online media, and the social media sites. Thank God for the social media sites putting this stuff out there in the media. Because if it wasn't for that, the story wouldn't have really made a lot of traction, because Russell Simmons is a huge supporter of President Obama. He is, a well-known, like I said, black celebrity and business mogul. Nobody wants to mess with Russell Simmons. He's also a social media mogul. So come on. He's like Tyler Perry on that level. Tyler Perry, Russell Simmons is along the same line, on the same level as Tyler Perry, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, along that line. So they're not going to mess with people like that. The media is not going to really make people like that look bad. So this incident or scenario did make Russell Simmons look bad. It made him appear as though he doesn't care about people who are low class. It made it appear as though the same citizens that he's quote unquote trying to help, he doesn't really give a darn about. Now I'm not saying he doesn't care about people that are low income, but the perception. It took him weeks to set this fund up, and only after the federal government got involved. The federal government agency that Obama established some years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, the Consumer Financial Protection Agency. The Consumer Financial Protection Agency. This is the same federal agency that President Obama wanted Elizabeth Warren to be in charge of. Elizabeth Warren is now a U.S. Senator out of Massachusetts. But before she became a U.S. Senator, President Obama wanted Elizabeth Warren to be the director of this agency, but she wasn't allowed to be so by Congress. Congress didn't let her, they didn't afford her that privilege, so she became a U.S. Senator, where she has more clout anyway. She's a great senator. But anyway, the Consumer Financial Protection Agency, excuse me. This is the agency that's supposed to protect consumers from fraud, financial mishaps that can destroy their credit, etc. But the agency didn't even get involved into the media, the social media sites and the national media made it a big story. So even though people were complaining and calling the agency, they didn't even get involved. If the media wasn't at their backs with the wind, they would not have tried to correct this situation. But where are the banks? Why aren't the banks more compassionate or showing more compassion for these low-income citizens to allow them to do business with the big banks? Why is it that Congress has not compelled the banks to do business with low-income citizens? If the banks would help these people, they wouldn't have to depend upon Russell Simmons' Ghetto card. Where are the banks? Banks, big banks, you're a part of the communities of America. The poor people live in the communities that you have your branches in. Every community in America, low income, wealthy communities, middle class, have banks. Where are the banks? Banks need to step up and help these citizens. Let them do business with the regular big banks. So these citizens will not have to depend upon prepaid debit cards or ghetto cards managed or funded by people like Mr. Russell Simmons. Thank you for tuning into the Black Political Buzz Network. Have a blessed day and goodbye.